So this might look familiar. So assume that there's some kind of content or form data over here. There's a button or link or something, and then you click on it, and there's like nothing happening for a while, and then there's after some delay there might be something happening. So typically what's happening in that case is that we're clicking on a button, and the button has an onClick event handler, and the onClick event handler in turn is calling an API, and then so the API is not responding for a while. So in this case, we actually have an API over here that just doesn't really do anything. It just returns data after waiting for a second. So that we're just emulating some of the APIs out there. And the client side, on the other hand, after being clicked, it just alerts the response, which is just data, right? So, but you can see the experience over here. I'm clicking on it, I wait, and then after that, there's some time happening. And this is not good at all. Users, when they click on something, they want to see immediate feedback. So that's called visual feedback. If you miss that, then it doesn't tend to be a good experience. It can be frustrating. So you want to have some kind of feedback as to what's happening in the background. You obviously want to increase the speed of your API as much as possible, but in some cases it may not be possible. You may be using an external API, or it may be as fast as it can be. You need to do something to show that something is happening. What do you do? In that case, you show a progress. In this case, we're going to do that. So you saw the component that we have over here. It's just a simple click button handler. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add a state. So we're going to add a state called progress. So this will basically control when we actually show progress. So when we're calling the API, before we call the API, I'm going to be coming over here, and I'm going to be setting the progress to true. And after we call the API, I'm going to set it to false. So we're going to stop showing progress in between that time. Okay, so this is our JavaScript logic. This is the React logic. We're setting our state, and now we need to control what that state does. And in WebDigital, we have a component that allows us to show conditional information, very much like the React if statement, so to say, in JSX. So that's called a switch element. So I'm going to be coming over here, and I can add a switch element over here. But rather than doing that, I'm just going to be converting that to a switch. So I'm going to make this a switch. Let's call this switch 1. Doesn't matter. All right. So if you now look at the elements tree, we have a switch, and then there's some block underneath it, element, and we have a button over here. So what we want to do is we want this switch to show a different state, basically a progress. So I'm going to say create this switch event handler, and the state that controls the switch is going to be simply our progress state. So I'm going to say return that state.progress. So that's going to be our switch value. And if I go back now, I'm going to be adding a switch value over here, switch content. And so the switch over here, the setting for that is going to be, we're going to say Boolean. And if it is true, so the switch value is true, meaning the progress is true, we're going to be showing the new switch content. All right. But the problem is, I turn it on, I show it briefly, it shows up. So in between, I can't really edit that. So in order to be able to edit that, we can just update the condition temporarily to false over here. All right. And so now the switch content is being shown, so I can edit that. So let's just make this centered first of all. The typography center, and we can say loading, and we can say over here we are waiting for the API. And we can even add a progress element over here. So this is the HTML progress element. So this is really quite useful at times, and it can be customized, styled very easily. So if you want to check out this article from CSS Tricks as to how it can be styled, this simple element, it's pretty nice. All right. So so now we're basically emulating that. We're ready to go, but we need to change the switch condition that we set temporarily to false. We're going to make it true now. So this is our actual value. So now if we say, we click on the button, the API responds, and now we actually have some visual feedback. And there you go. This is how you show progress bars while you wait for the API to load. Thank you very much for watching.